It's the Riot Podcast, Friday, January 13th edition, Friday the 13th. It must be bad luck because Nikki couldn't make it.
She's starting off a rough Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that's right.
Who knows what today has in store for her?
Hopefully her calling in sick is the worst thing that happens to any one of us on Friday the 13th. She just said it was a night where she said she was not able to sleep overnight because of like the sickness that's going around with her. So that is obviously, she came into the show, even if she was healthy enough, she'd be all loopy.
Like right before the weekend, that's a terrible time to get sick. If I'm going to get sick, it has to be like a Monday or Tuesday. That way I can kick it by Thursday so my weekend plans can stay intact.
Yeah.
If I get sick on a Thursday or Friday, it's going to run into the next week because I'm not going to slow down during the weekend. It's going to be a disaster.
Do you have any weekend plans this weekend?
I do not. It's an extended weekend. So I'm going to have to find things to do. But as of now, I don't have much going on.
So
weekend.
Would you like to have me over?
I already answered.
The hot tub, is it open?
The hot tub is not open. If the hot tub was cooking, then I could have myself a little soiree at the house. Unfortunately, a little soak. Unfortunately, no hot tub cooking right now.
Dang.
So yeah,
all right, then I don't want to come over anyways.
Yeah, I know I don't really have much to do. We could watch the games.
We could. But I can do that without you, and I'd have a better time.
Yeah, probably.
Nikki will be back on Tuesday after we enjoy our long weekend, and that, because she was out today, that is when we will finally try the long-awaited taste of the Biscoff collection of donuts at Krispy Kreme. So that's coming up on Tuesday. But in the meantime, Isaiah, tell us about the show today.
We talked about Valentine's Day, our next big holiday after MLK Day.
That's right.
Which is coming up on Monday. But Valentine's Day, if you do not have a reservation yet, we're coming up to that time where we're about a little bit over a month away.
Yeah.
You need your reservations lined up.
You got to start planning.
Or you need to find a special someone. Mm-hmm. That's the boat that I'm in. So currently no reservation to be made.
Yeah. You know what you should do?
What should I do? Make a reservation now and hope that I can find someone?
Exactly.
I actually already have a nice place.
Put a deposit down so that like a lot of money is sunk into the situation.
That way I will find someone.
All of a sudden you'll find
somebody. I'll be forced.
Yeah.
I'll be like, well, I had to take somebody. I already made a deposit on this nice reservation.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll take them to this special place we talked about.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. And desperation yields the best results. Everybody knows that.
So for me currently, no Valentine's Day plans. But if I did have a special someone, we give you guys a place that you could take them.
Yes,
if you would like. Yeah, very unique.
A unique option. Okay.
We talked about that. We also talked about whether or not it is better to grow up in an ingredient household versus a snack household.
Yeah, I'm interested to know. Obviously, Nikki not here today. I really don't know if she grew up in an ingredient household. I know she wasn't allowed to have sugary cereal, right?
Yeah.
So that makes me feel she might have been an ingredient household. I would think she was definitely an ingredient, for sure.
And
the way she eats now, it's healthier than us.
Yeah.
But we definitely leaned more towards what is a snack household.
Yeah.
For each of the both of us, even though there was some ingredients in there. Here's a question for you. The question, the way you can tell is if you live in an ingredient household when you were a kid, is when you started having to make snacks for yourself.
Yes.
When did you first make your first box of Kraft dinner, macaroni and cheese?
Ooh, I don't know when I first started making Kraft, but I'll tell you what I used to make every day.
What's that?
I used to make myself a French bread pizza.
Oh.
Every day when I got home from school.
Yeah.
That was my go-to snack, probably around like 4th, 5th grade. I was slinging those things, Hot Pockets, pizza rolls, bagel bites. Those were the kind of things that were my afternoon snacks because I would get home from school and my parents were still at work. And so it would be me and my brothers, and we would sling in some pizzas and some microwavable pizzas. And that was the jazz for us.
Yeah, I know. I was one of the first things I learned how to make that wasn't a sandwich. I was probably like 13 maybe when I started popping the mac and cheese together. And I'm not talking about the microwaved cups. I'm talking about boiling a pot of water.
You're talking about boiling up, huh?
Doing all that jazz. All that jazz. So that was a good snack. And then I didn't live in an ingredient household, and this is how you can tell. Because even when I learned to cook stuff, once I started to get older and I was making snacks for myself, we'd have fries, and we actually had a deep fryer. And so I deep fry snacks.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's not an ingredient household.
No.
Even though you're making the food, you're not making food.
No. That's awesome.
You're making something much worse.
The deep fryer in the house, utilizing that younger, that's awesome. See, for me,
just moved here. They didn't bring the deep fryer.
They should have brought it.
Yeah, I could use that.
Yeah, the deep fryer that'd be making some real crispy fries. Yeah, for me too. I think now I'm much more ingredient household, and so if I did have a child, they probably would not be a fan of the snacks that we have laying around.
Yeah,
because I have no real snacks. I mean, I've got apples, I've got oranges. I do make a snack for me is a grilled cheese. I'll make a grilled cheese. I'll make a cheese
but you have
burrito.
a little child running around. They're not going to be able to make. Cheese.
I'd have to make it for them.
That's hot butter, like that can be dangerous.
No, I would not force my kid to make. I would make him snacks myself. He'd come home. I'd have the grilled cheese laid out for him, a PB&J. Actually, I don't want a kid. Never mind. It sounds like a lot of work.
That is a lot of work.
Sounds like a lot of work. Yeah. I don't want to do that.
All right. Well,
it's good for me though.
Some good stuff in the show, and we've barely scratched the surface. So
much more to come.
Keep on listening, and make sure you have a great long weekend if you're listening to this actually on Friday the 13th. And then we will catch you on Tuesday.
We'll see you guys.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Michael Bay, famous Hollywood director, most well known for Transformers, do you think?
I think so. That's how I knew him.
Really well known for movies where a lot of stuff blows up. I think if you go back further in time, did he do Independence Day? I don't know. He's done some famous movies. Transformers, one of the biggest ones, and he's in some trouble. He's actually addressed some allegations that go back about 5 years ago. That claim that allegedly he is an Italian bird murderer.
Oh, a bird murderer. That's new.
Yes. Yeah. This is serious stuff. Apparently, are you familiar with another movie of his? It's called Six Underground. That's familiar. I think it's Ryan Reynolds. It's on.
I do like Ryan Reynolds.
It's on Netflix. It was kind of a big deal for Netflix when that came out several years ago. And during the filming of that movie, while Michael Bay and everybody was filming in Italy, the story is that a dolly hit and killed a homing pigeon during filming.
Okay.
And in Italy, homing pigeons, much like apparently many other birds, are a protected species.
It's a big deal if you kill a bird.
Yeah, here in the U.S., if you see pigeons, if you are somehow able to catch them, go ahead, do whatever you want. If you're in the streets of New York City, people actually appreciate. They cheer you on.
If you can get rid of the pigeons.
Yeah.
Over there, apparently, it's like killing a dog. It sounds like
it's not. It is frowned upon. It is illegal. They're a protected species, and so he has. This is a movie that filmed a long time ago. This has been a controversy for a while. And for whatever reason, yesterday, he came out and addressed the situation with a statement. He says, this is a statement. I'm a well-known animal lover and major animal activist. No animal involved in the production was injured or harmed. Do you see what he's saying there?
See, that doesn't seem very genuine.
I don't think
that doesn't seem genuine whatsoever.
The pigeon didn't want to be involved in the production. So that's
especially when you say, like, I'm a well-known animal lover. There's no animals harmed in the making of this process.
Several of my friends are black. I couldn't be racist.
Yes, exactly. That does not sound right there, Mr. Michael Bay.
He says, or on any other production I've worked on in the last 30 years, there hasn't been an animal involved that was harmed or injured. We have clear video evidence, a multitude of witnesses and safety officers that exonerates us from these claims and disproves, because the controversy goes back to there's one paparazzi photo that he says shares a false story. And so he's saying that paparazzo was, caught him in a bad spot. It made it look bad, but it's not what it looks like. He did not murder a pigeon.
This is a weird story because obviously it doesn't feel like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But to them, it's a big deal. This feels like something you could just be like, all right, we like accidentally killed the pigeon, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that big of a deal. But for him to be like completely trying to avoid these allegations seems as if he thinks there's some major issues going to go on if he admits to this.
Well, it's weird because he also, looking deeper into the case, he's refused to take any plea deal that has involved him pleading guilty. And he's tried to get it thrown out now 3 times in court in Italy. and it hasn't worked.
What is the actual consequence of this?
That's what I'm wondering too.
Like, what happens if he's like, you know what? I killed it. I killed the pigeon.
Do they throw you in an Italian prison? Is this one of those locks up abroad situations?
I don't understand, because especially
with the United States, what is it called? Extradite?
Yes,
Michael Bay back to Italy for the pigeon murder?
Like, are they saying it's all his fault? Like, they said he got killed by a dolly.
Yeah,
like,
so
he's the director, but like,
well, it's a movie set. The buck stops at the director.
Yeah, I mean, yes, obviously he's in charge, but realistically, it was an accident. How much trouble could he possibly get in for admitting that he did this?
It does also seem he does in the statement he recognizes. He says they have a multitude of witnesses. You would think in a movie set, a big movie set like that,
oh yeah,
there'd be enough people on hand that could just say, we didn't kill the bird. I don't know. I feel like that.
How did they even come to this
You
conclusion?
could all just agree on a story that we found the bird like that type thing. Like, just make it up. What's going to happen? But I don't know. I just don't know what he's going to, what is all going to come of this.
I want to know what the consequences are, because if he's going to go to jail over this, then Italy needs some new rules.
Come on.
How important are pigeons?
We need more Michael Bay movies. You can't deprive us of that.
Like one pigeon?
Yeah.
Come on.
How many pigeons is a Michael Bay movie worth?
Multiple.
Several.
Your For You page would be a lot more fun if it had Hudson, Nikki, and Isaiah. Follow at RadioU Official on TikTok. The Riot. Radio U.
Isaiah, did you see this debate going on about Humpty Dumpty?
I did not.
This hasn't popped up on your Twitter?
It has not popped up on my Twitter.
This is something that's blowing a lot of people's minds. A lot of people seem to be have their brains cracked wide open, just like Humpty Dumpty did.
That's a good one.
Because a young adult author, so supposedly she's popular. I wouldn't know, although I am a young adult. Holly Bourne.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, me neither. And you're a young adult too.
Credibility out the window.
Yeah, if anybody would know, it'd be us. Holly Bourne kind of took the internet by storm, at least part of Twitter, by raising the question: who decided Humpty Dumpty was an egg? Every time you see him,
he's an egg.
Whenever you think of him,
Shrek, egg.
Do you think about him a lot? I don't think about him a lot.
I don't think about him very often.
No, it doesn't come up. But when it does, you're thinking Humpty Dumpty, egg. But if you think about can you recite the Humpty Dumpty story?
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again.
Now, where does it say that he's an egg?
Well, it sounds like he fell apart.
Lots of things.
And they try to put him back together.
Lots of things can fall apart if they have a great fall.
I guess so, but I mean, they just always depicted him as an egg.
Yeah. Well, you want to know? Because this has come up, now we get to learn a little bit about the history of
we
Humpty
love
Dumpty.
history on the Riot.
Yeah.
Let's hear the history.
So the Humpty Dumpty rhyme initially comes from 1797. It was written by Samuel Arnold in a book called Juvenile Amusements. That is a juvenile amusement.
Juvenile amusements?
Yeah.
Sounds kind of odd.
It's a little insulting, actually.
I don't like those two things together.
Yeah, you probably like juvenile amusements.
You know, I feel like I am a juvenile amusement.
Sounds like some person that really looks down on you. That's something they would say. And so that's where the rhyme comes from. And then Humpty Dumpty started appearing as an egg, apparently, in 1871 when Lewis Carroll, you know who that is?
Sounds familiar.
Lewis Carroll wrote Alice in Wonderland, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He also wrote
With it?
Through the Looking Glass.
I'm familiar with that one,
which
too.
I think also involves, is that Alice from Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah, that's Alice in Wonderland, yeah.
So Humpty Dumpty's in there, and he makes him an egg. And so that's where it all stems back from.
Interesting. See, for me, Humpty is obviously an egg, as it is for most people. But she's claiming he's not.
Yeah, does this...
What is she saying he is?
Just that it could be anything. There is some speculation that when it was originally written, that it might have been in reference to a cannon.
A cannon?
Well, it makes sense why all the king's horses and men would be...
there?
I don't know if the horses would be much help, but the men, like if the king is sending the army, is another thing this woman pointed out. Why would he send the whole army? Maybe because it's a cannon that
To
needs to be
fix the
fixed.
cannon?
The one cannon, which we've disparaged cannons on the show before.
Yeah.
Useless weapon.
Yeah,
Pathetic.
like when I think about Humpty Dumpty, also, whenever there's been an image of Humpty Dumpty, it's been an egg. So unfortunately, at this point in time, you're not going to be able to change that in my mind. When I've seen Humpty Dumpty yet again, especially in Shrek, that's the one that he is most well known for me. And in that movie, he is an egg.
I think it's just not, it wouldn't connect with kids. Not that Humpty Dumpty does connect with kids all that well here in 2023, but even less so if you start showing Humpty as a cannon. That's going to be real confusing.
If you said the riddle and a 6-year-old, and you had the 6-year-old guess what Humpty Dumpty is, and the 6-year-old says an egg, that means that's what it's supposed to be.
That's a smart 6-year-old.
Yes.
Actually, that'd be a good segment. We should do that on the show.
Ask the 6-year-old if they can figure it out.
If we can just find some 6-year-olds.
Anybody have to volunteer?
Manifest.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
But something we've talked about on the show recently, if we're talking about HBO Max, a lot of times we're talking about them doing what?
Raising prices.
No.
See, 'cause that's what we're talking about right now.
It is. We should have talked about this before, maybe.
You never try to plan with me.
No.
You know I don't listen to you guys when you're in here talking.
Well, when we talked about let's pretend that you didn't just say that.
Okay,
let's reset it up.
Let's start over.
When we talk about HBO Max, we often talk about how they
have movies.
Keep pulling content off.
They keep getting rid of movies.
Remember,
Got it.
I was getting real upset the other day because they pulled a bunch of Looney Tunes.
Yes, Looney Tunes. I was in here for that.
Looney Tunes. Westworld is gone.
I just feel like HBO Max is not that good. So for them to be pulling things, I feel like it's getting even worse.
Do you have HBO Max?
I don't.
Then how do you know how good it is?
Because I don't feel the need to have it, so I don't think it's good.
It's fair because I don't have Apple TV Plus. I don't have Peacock.
Do you have HBO Max?
I do.
Really? And you think it's good?
I would tell you that HBO Max is neck and neck for the top streaming service I use.
You think it's as good as Netflix and Hulu and all that jazz?
I never use Netflix.
Really? You think it's better?
Netflix, I could probably go 6 months out of the year, like 6 months at a time without checking in on Netflix and be totally fine. HBO Max and the other one I use a lot?
Disney Plus.
No, Hulu.
Hulu, okay.
Hulu. You know what? You can tell a lot about me probably because I use HBO Max and I use Hulu, and it's for the
niche shows that you have?
Not necessarily niche, but more like prestige, like critically acclaimed shows.
Got it.
And less like just classic sitcoms or like Disney superhero stuff.
See, that's when I watch shows, it's usually I'm watching something I've already seen before, some sort of comedy that's just on there, or I'm watching a Disney thing.
All right. So HBO Max you don't care, but for HBO Max, you do know that we've been talking about how they keep removing content.
Getting rid of it, yes.
And so it makes sense that as they are providing you with less and less of a product, they should charge you more for it.
That makes so much sense to me.
HBO Max has announced that the price of their ad-free subscription is going to get a price hike. I believe this is the first time they've ever raised the price. The first time they've done this since 2020. They are upping the cost of their ad-free subscription from $14.99 a month to $15.99 a month.
15, so $1 up?
$1 more.
Okay, well, that's kind of a hike, I guess.
Yeah, when HBO Max came out, it started higher than most other streaming services, and now they've really especially Netflix, has caught up to them. But here's the good news. If you're like me, you have the ad-supported HBO Max. Looks like that's staying the same for now.
Okay, well then you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. And the ad-supported, I'll tell you also, as somebody who uses HBO Max a lot, the ads, I hardly even notice them. I forget sometimes if I even have the ad-supported thing because I don't even notice.
Yeah, I feel like having the ads on is not a big deal for most streaming services. You don't really notice them at all.
With HBO Max, I think it depends on the content. If it's like their original stuff, I think they might not even put ads in it. And then if you're watching other stuff that's not originally on HBO Max, then they might interrupt it for you.
So it comes out to a year, you're paying like $192 a year for the $15.99. Right? That's how much it costs.
That's a lot.
15 times 12
it's
is
a
$192.
Lot when you put it that way.
Yeah, so does it feel worth it? $200 a year?
Well, I don't do that, so.
Okay, well.
I do the $9.99 a month.
Okay, so I guess that's about $120 a year.
I think I can justify that.
You can justify that?
Especially when, as we've addressed on the show many times, the ideal thing you need to do is you pay for one streaming service and share your password with other folks.
Yeah.
Get other folks to share their passwords as they pay for other streaming services with you, and then you have access to all of them. And that's what I do. And so I feel like I'm getting off all right paying for the HBO Max.
I think as long as you watch a couple of things a month, you're good. That's all you have to do.
Oh, I definitely watch my money's worth, I think.
Okay, there you go. Then that's all good then.
Yeah, so I'm all good.
If you're watching like two movies a month, it's not worth it. But as long as you're making it to where like you're getting about $1 per show you're watching or per movie you're watching, then that's fine.
Yeah, and you got to have the HBO Max this week too, because have you seen the Last of Us premieres on Sunday night?
Oh, does it?
Yeah, a lot of people real excited about that. Real good reviews. So that maybe you'll even subscribe.
Maybe I'll even do a free trial.
Maybe I'll share my password with you.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Tell me what you think of this. White Castle bringing back an old tradition for the first time since 2020. They are going to be doing a Valentine's Day dinner experience.
Ooh.
Yeah, they announced that they're bringing it back. You ever did this before?
Because everybody's been waiting for it. I mean, we were wondering, is White Castle going to come back this year with the Valentine's Day dinner? I was trying to get my plans together, but I didn't know for sure if they were going to have it again or not. But now that I know that it's back, I mean, where else are you going to head?
Well, you got to head to White Castle. This was, what I was thinking was, a lot of the White Castles in my area over the years have seemed to disappear a bit. And I wonder if it's because they hadn't been able to do the Valentine's Day dinner. And so that was hurting business, you know?
Clearly.
So they're bringing it back for the White Castle Valentine's Day dinner experience. If you'd like to take your sweetie on Valentine's Day, it will go from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Local time. And they have several special menu items, including a brand new soda just for the occasion, the Sprite Love Castle Potion.
Oh,
you like Sprite?
I do like
Sprite.
Sprite.
That sounds a little ominous.
I don't know if that's going to be enough to bring me in.
If someone came to you and said, "Try this Love Castle Potion,"
try this potion.
I feel that I'd be a little.
Sweetheart, I got to do the love potion from White Castle. Like, that's their best thing they could come up with, a new pop. Like, they couldn't come up with anything else to bring me in there.
Well, they also offer cheesecake on a stick with a strawberry swirl.
Okay.
And chocolate
cheesecake.
cookie crumb crust.
I'm okay with that. I like cheesecake. That sounds good.
And
on a stick, too.
The Love Cube meal for two. That includes 8 cheese sliders, 2 shareable sides, and 2 soft drinks.
What's the price point looking like for that? Do we have a price on there?
Prices and participation may vary.
Of course, of course. It sounds good.
Now, listen.
Sounds like quite the deal.
Don't just roll into White Castle on Valentine's Day at 4 p.m. and expect to be treated like royalty, because you need to get reservations for this.
No way.
They say the tables fill up quickly.
I bet.
The situation.
With this kind of service here.
Well, listen, the last time they did this, 2020, more than 30,000 people participated in the White Castle Valentine's Day date experience.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I won't lie. I would say for you, if you're considering the White Castle for Valentine's Day, obviously it comes with its perks.
It does.
There's a lot of stuff going on here.
Affordable.
Yeah, affordable.
Unique.
Very unique. It'll be memorable. Like, the girl will for sure tell her friends. If that's a good thing or bad thing, I don't know. This wouldn't be somewhere. If this is your first Valentine's Day together, I would lean nay on White Castle. If you're at like your 4th or 5th or 3rd, you guys are feeling real comfortable, you kind of want to do something off the beaten path, everybody else is doing something romantic, this could be a good alternative. This also can tell you as well if your girl is just down for whatever. If she's willing to go to White Castle with you and have a good time, that means that you guys have a good relationship.
It's a good sign. I'd be curious to see what the crowd is like.
It's a weird crowd
at a White Castle Valentine's Day dinner, because I have not done this, but I'd be curious to walk in and just see what the type of people are that are enjoying a romantic, I assume candlelit. Do you think they lower the lights in White Castle?
It's got to be candlelit. They've got probably like the dresses down on the tables, obviously.
That's right.
I'm thinking for sure if you go here.
Wouldn't it be great if there's like a White Castle employee that brings you the Sprite, but it's in like a bottle, like a wine bottle?
Oh, yeah. They're wearing like a suit.
There's somebody walking around selling roses. There has to be somebody walking around selling roses. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. And I think if you, like, half the price here is just getting the people watch. Like, you sit down in there, and there's going to be some people around you that are taking it very serious. This is like an actual romantic dinner.
I don't know. You could wind up with a Mexican standoff situation.
Oh, yeah.
Where everybody's people watching each other and nobody can really focus on
They're going to think you're the spectacle. That's
exactly.
the wild part.
That's the difficulty. But
little do they know.
It's good to have it back, though.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Isaiah, we still have to go ahead and do our Friday tradition.
There you go.
Yeah. The Friday tradition, we call it the box office buzz.
The box office buzz.
This is the list of movies that are out in theaters or on streaming this weekend that you could choose to watch. So we'll present you with some options. Number one, I'll give you, is A Man Called Otto. That is the new Tom Hanks movie that's been in select theaters for a few weeks now, but now pretty much everywhere you should be able to find that at your local theater. It's a somewhat of a comedy starring Tom Hanks as Otto. Have you seen the previews? I know they've come up during football games.
I have seen a couple little things about it. I've seen Tom Hanks on the screen.
I can't remember. I know Nikki hates Tom Hanks for some reason.
I don't hate Tom Hanks.
You don't hate him?
I think he's all right.
You enjoy him?
I like Toy Story.
Yeah?
He has like a real unique voice, like his voice.
You like Forrest Gump?
Forrest Gump's a solid movie, yeah.
What about Captain Phillips? You like Captain Phillips?
I've seen Captain Phillips. I think it's a good movie.
Okay, so...
I think he's good. I like it, and I like his voice. I think he has a very interesting, unique voice.
Yeah, it's comforting, isn't it?
I relate to him in that way.
I wish Tom Hanks was my dad.
What?
Yeah. And that's what I think you're going to see in A Man Called Otto. It's going to be if Tom Hanks, if you were related to him and he was kind of like your gruff, opinionated uncle or something like that. Yep, that's what you'd be getting into. So A Man Called Otto is one of the big releases. Then this one, I'm interested to see if you think you might find yourself watching this. Plane. Have you seen the trailer for Plane?
I don't think I have.
Plane is a movie. It stars Gerard Butler. Have you ever seen Olympus Has Fallen?
I think I have.
The movie where the White House gets like
yes, I've seen it. I've seen it.
That's Gerard Butler. He's also, I think he's in 300. So he's just an action movie star guy. It's him. It's Mike Coulter, who you might know as Luke Cage, and it's a movie where it starts off as it looks like it's just a standard plane movie. What, the plane's gonna like crash or whatever, but the plane crashes. He and Luke Cage and everybody, they find themselves on like an island off of the Philippines or something like that, and they get attacked by like militants on this
I like that
remote island, and they have to fight them off.
I like the thought of that one.
Yeah, so action movie. The review's pretty solid. That's got a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. And if you're just looking for a good old-fashioned action flick, that's out this weekend in theaters if you'd like to watch that. Also, this is way different. R-rated comedy, House Party. I've seen the trailer for that. Doesn't look as good to me, but LeBron James is involved. And then, now here's something you could stream. You want something you can stream?
Let's do something to stream.
How about Doggone? Doggone. It's on Netflix. When his beloved dog goes missing, a young man embarks on an incredible search with his parents to find him and give him life-saving medication. Starring Rob Lowe.
I thought they kind of ruined the plot.
What do you mean?
I feel like that was the whole plot.
What if that all happens in the first 15 minutes?
How is that even possible?
And then the rest of the movie,
he said he's looking for the dog, and then he finds him. I feel like that was a big plot twist.
I don't know. If you go on Google and you Google the movie, that's what comes up. So
I guess it's not that important then. I guess it's just a part of it.
I don't know.
More.
That
what more could there be?
If you're a dog lover, I feel like that could be a tearjerker.
It sounds like it. It sounds like a tearjerker.
Proceed with caution on that one.
It sounds like he finds the dog and saves its life. If I had to guess.
But you don't know how it. You don't know
how the story goes.
Sometimes it's not about the destination; it's about the journey.
Yeah.
So maybe again, and that just could be one that if you want to have a good cry,
my pup and I will watch that. Jim and I are going to take that one on this weekend,
and you can say to Jim, "See, this is what I would do for you."
So if you ever run away, this is what's going to happen to you. I'm going to go out there and find you, save you. We don't have to do all that.
I think there's something for everybody this weekend.
You're safer here. Yes, I think there's a lot of good stuff here. I think the one that intrigues me the most is planes.
All right. You going to go?
I won't go, no, but it intrigues me.
I'm intrigued by Plane and A Man Called Otto.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see either one of those, but probably not this weekend. It's going to be too busy. Too much
weekend.
Too much football going on, which we will be talking about soon.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
It's a long weekend, and it's not just a long weekend in general. It's also a long weekend of football. We've got games in the NFL playoffs starting tomorrow and running all the way through Monday night.
Woo! And I'm pumped up about it, baby.
We can stay up late on Sunday night, and we don't even have to feel bad about it.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
What a bonus.
So let's do a couple things. One, I want you to tell me which game you're most excited to watch. If everybody, like if you're a casual fan out there and you're like, I don't know who's playing maybe, what game should I make time for? What's going to be an exciting game? And then one game to skip as well, first of all.
See, I think the big games here, I'm seeing Tampa Bay, Dallas. A lot of storylines there.
That's a marquee matchup. That's Monday night.
You got the Cowboys trying to get rid of some of the critics they've had the past couple of years with their lack of playoff success. And then on the other side, of course, it's the GOAT. It's Tom Brady. They've underperformed this year, but they still have a chance to make up for it in the playoffs. Dangerous situation there. The other game I'm excited about is I want to see San Francisco and Seattle.
Really?
Because I think that this could be a good game because whenever you have two teams in the playoffs that are in the same division, I think anything could happen. And that's the other reason that I think that could be a good game is because I want to see Geno Smith in the playoffs. He had a good season. He kind of had a thriller story for a backup quarterback coming in. And so to see if he's able to take down the 49ers, be very big. One game that you can skip, it's got to be Dolphins-Bills. There's no way.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate game. You've got two games this weekend, Dolphins-Bills and Ravens-Bengals, where you're going to have backup quarterbacks. And actually, in both cases, it may be third-string quarterbacks.
Yes.
The Dolphins are trotting out a guy, not Tua Tagovailoa, their normal starter, who's had concussion issues. Probably not Teddy Bridgewater, their backup, who's solid. Skylar Thompson, third-string quarterback. You know that can't be good.
Not good at all.
And for the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, their previous MVP winner quarterback, he's injured. He's not going to be playing. And their backup, Tyler Huntley, not particularly good, but it also looks like he may not play. So then you're down to Anthony Brown. So again, those two games, probably, they may not be blowouts, but they're probably not going to be. It's hard to imagine either of those teams scoring a lot of points with their third-string quarterback. All right, go ahead and give me. Why don't you give me quick predictions for all 6 games?
All 6 games? Yeah. I'm taking
rapid fire.
I'm taking Bills over the Dolphins.
Easy.
I'm taking Bengals over the Ravens.
With you on that.
I'm taking Chargers over the Jaguars.
No, I'll take the Jaguars.
You're taking Jags? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm taking 49ers over Seahawks. I'm taking Vikings over Giants.
Oh.
You're not gonna?
No, I'm taking the Giants.
You're taking Giants.
I hate the Vikings.
Okay, I was waiting for you to chime in.
The Vikings are no good. The Giants almost beat them the first time they played.
I knew you were gonna pick Giants. I was giving you your opportunity when I said I'm taking Vikings over Giants.
Yeah.
I paused so that you could say Giants. I knew you were gonna pick them.
I thought just my disapproving was enough.
And then I'm also the Tampa Bay Dallas game was a toss up for me. I'm gonna go with Dallas. I'm taking Dallas.
Oh,
I know.
You know what that means?
You're taking Tampa Bay?
It's a disapproving I'm picking Tampa Bay. And I think the Seahawks 49ers game will be close.
I think that's a good game. I think it'll be a good game to watch.
It's supposed to be bad weather too, so that also might make it a little closer, even the playing field. Now, last thing. Super Bowl predictions. Who do you think will make it at the beginning of the playoffs? We'll have to text Nikki for her choices.
Mine is not exactly who I think will make it. Because if I was going to do a prediction of like the teams that I really think will make it to the Super Bowl, I would pick like the Chiefs or the Bills or something. But I'm not going to do that because that's boring.
You're going to pick something that's not going to happen.
I'm going to pick something that may not happen, but this is what I'm cheering for to happen.
Okay.
I think the 49ers are going to make it. I have faith in the 49ers. And then
also with a third string quarterback.
With a third string quarterback, and a rookie quarterback has never won a Super Bowl. I think they're going to the Super Bowl. And then also out of the AFC, I'm rolling the Chargers.
Well, that's a big upset.
It's a big upset, but I'm rolling the Chargers. I think they win in the first round, and they'll go in the second round to play Kansas City.
They're going to have to go on the road 3 times.
They're going to have to go to Kansas City.
It's cold weather, probably.
Division game. It'll get nasty, and they're going to come out with the win.
I will take the Bengals in the AFC, as much as I know you will hate that.
I hate that, yes.
And I will take, I've been going back and forth, I got to go with the Eagles from the NFC over the Buccaneers.
I like it.
The Riot's X-rays just came in, and they all got that dog in them. Radio U.
An interesting trend going on in the working world among young people. I don't know why I say it like that. There's nothing that makes me sound older. Oh, young people. Young people are quitting their jobs without giving 2 weeks' notice.
Aren't you like a part of this group?
Yeah.
This is you.
I know, but I don't know.
I don't know why you're saying young people.
But I also feel like if you say Gen Z, which is what the
Gen
story
Z.
is, that
what
also
age group
sounds
is
like
that?
something an older person would say.
Yeah, but Gen Z is not even a young demographic anymore. I mean, it's still young, obviously, but it's not like 17-year-olds. Like Gen Z is like what, 26 to 34 or something?
It's old enough to work?
Yeah, exactly. That's like the main young working people is Gen Z.
And so here's the new trend, supposedly. I don't know if I totally buy this, but I'll see what you think. With Gen Z, younger workers in the workforce are they're putting to bed some of the norms when it comes to the workplace. One of them is giving 2 weeks notice. That's the old classic thing you're supposed to do. If you're quitting a job, you put in your 2 weeks notice. But for Gen Z, for young people, many of them are no longer doing that. In fact,
Gen Z is young people. I'm sorry about that. 11 to 26. Go on.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't think a lot of 11-year-olds are out there working.
Yeah.
But for those that are in Gen Z that are old enough to work, when they decide they don't want to work somewhere anymore, many are saying no 2 weeks notice. It's a big hashtag on TikTok. And you'll see a lot of people that are not just not giving 2 weeks notice. They're making a big deal out of it on TikTok where they go in and walk into a place and they're like, I've had it with you.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, no 2 weeks notice for me. And
my last day.
I do have a survey here that actually says that for 49% of people, and that's not just Gen Z, that's just workers in general, 49% of people have quit a job and offered 1 week's notice or less. So that is something that many people have done, but supposedly it's something that particularly if you're like newer in the work, if you're younger, if you're under 26, it's something that you're more likely to do these days.
Yeah, I think that's wrong. I think you should give 2 weeks notice.
Oh, you think you should always give 2 weeks?
I think you should because more than likely nowadays, I feel like they're probably going to let you go before the 2 weeks are even up.
You think so?
Yeah, like
but
usually.
They're so desperate for workers, though.
Yeah, it just depends on the job, too. It depends on what your role is at the place. If you're an integral worker, like if they need you for day-to-day and you just say, like, I'm done, I think that's kind of messed up to, like, totally, like, they're going to be totally screwed, like, the next, like, couple days if you just leave.
Yeah.
If you're leaving that kind of a job, you for sure need to give 2 weeks. You'll probably work 1 week, and they're probably going to say to you, oh, we're just going to use the rest of your vacation days. You're good to go or whatever.
Sure.
Once they get everything lined up.
That's a good point.
That's what happens. That's what happened to me last time. I gave my 2 weeks to the last place that I left, and then they said to me, they said the final week, they said, you're good to go. Just we've already used your vacation days.
Yeah.
Just you can head out. I said, perfect. I'm out of here.
I think this isn't, it's not that Gen Z is like pioneering this idea of, hey, let's just quit. I think that's just something that if you're young, you just do. You know what I mean?
Like if you work at McDonald's, then you can just quit.
I'm going to work for another 40 years.
Yeah.
It's not like if I don't give my 2 weeks notice here at this job I hate that's paying me minimum wage.
Fair.
I'm not going to not get another job. Of course. What, are they going to reference this McDonald's?
Yes.
This barber shop? And,
It's very situational.
Actually, they didn't give their 2 weeks. So, yeah, I think it's just something that younger people tend to do.
They just stop showing up. Like, if you work at Dairy Queen, you might just stop showing up.
Right.
And that's what like
That's
18-year-olds
really not
do.
giving your
Like, they
2-week
just
notice.
don't show up to their job anymore, and they no longer show up to their shift at McDonald's. It's different if you're working like a corporate job versus if you're like flipping burgers at Burger King.
Right.
Very different 2-week notice status for me there. If you're working fast food at a job that does not affect you ever again, it's still messed up not to show up, but at the same time, they will make it through that day. If you're working in like corporate America and you decide to leave and it totally screws over your company, that is not ideal.
Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of people and it's like, well, the job, and I've said this before, the company doesn't care. They don't have feelings.
They don't care about me.
If they were going to fire you, they would just kick you out the door. And that's all true. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't milk them for all they're worth. If you are going to quit, get some money on your way out the door.
You know what? You might as well work that last 2 weeks and get your final paycheck.
Exactly. Apollo LTD.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Today's Friday the 13th.
Ooh.
Now, this raises an important question, and I'd like everybody to text in on Friday the 13th. Do you have any superstitions? Because I know most people would say, I'm not very superstitious, but at the same time,
I am a little stitious.
I'm a little stitious. There's those stupid little things that you do that you're like, this is, I think, especially in sports, you do it. It's just like, this is going to help the team. I can't change my socks.
Oh, how did you read? You read my mind. That's wild. You just did that. That's wild. You said that.
That's not yours, is it?
That was literally what was going through my mind right then when you were saying it. It was a sock superstition. But go on. Continue.
Do you have special socks, or you just, if you wear a pair of socks and your team wins, you keep going with it?
Since I've been young, I've always put on my right sock first.
Okay.
And that's a little superstition of my day-to-day life.
Oh, you think your day goes worse if you do left?
I put on my right sock first every day. Every day.
That's your superstition.
That's one of my superstitions. One of my many.
Yeah. Oh, you have many.
I think I probably do because I was trying to think of some while you were talking, and that was the first one that came to mind. And then I was like, maybe I do have some things that I do every day.
So do you really believe that, or
I mean, I put it on every day.
A habit.
I think I do believe it a little bit. I don't know if my day would go worse, but I do feel more confident if I slip on that right one first.
So it's all about the mindset.
If I slip my toe on that right one first, all of a sudden, I feel a little bit better.
Well, text in your superstition on Friday the 13th here at 8772 Radio. You will go through some. And Isaiah, apparently you have several. So would you like to share more?
I mean, I'm trying to come up with the other ones that I do, but it's going to take a while because there's such routine. A lot of your superstitions, you don't realize you're doing it every day, but you're doing it not even thinking about it. And that's what I'm doing, I think, every day.
Yeah. What do I do that would be considered a superstition? Because I'm normally, Isaiah, and you know this about me, I'm a very scientific, I'm a very logical
thinker
and analytical type person. So that being the case, it makes superstitions not make a lot of sense for me, right? Because there's nothing scientific about them.
Yeah, it wouldn't really fit your shtick.
Any of those little quirky habits that I develop are probably because I read something somewhere that says you should do this. It'll make things go better for you. In a scientific, it was like a study that we read for the show. It wasn't, I just feel that if I do this, if I put my coffee cups in upside down, then I'll be healthier or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If it was statistically backed, you would do it.
We do have Shane texting in saying that he puts the left foot first on his cues. That's his superstition.
I mean, I wouldn't, but for you, maybe that works.
Dee texted in. She says she drinks a half a cup of coffee before getting in the car to drive anywhere in the morning. She says she doesn't know if that's really a superstition, but she thinks it helps her brain function better.
It might. I could see that.
That could be. I could see that. I don't know. Again, there's some like
a half cup
blurry area between superstition and just like your own quirky habit. Because I used to think it was important as well to make coffee at home and drink it like very first thing before, not drink the whole thing, but have coffee ready in the car. Because if I was even to drive without having coffee, I would be groggy and whatever. And like, I'm just not going to have a good start to the day. But since doing this show, I've totally lost that.
Oh, yeah, there's no way you're drinking
I don't drink coffee
until
I get here. And then I have to wake up even earlier, and I don't want to do that. So
yeah, I think there's probably things that we do every day we don't realize we're superstitious about that are just part of your routine but at the same time, I am having trouble thinking of any of them.
Oh, I've got a good one here from Tim. Tim, a hockey fan, as am I. Tim says he's usually joking about most of them, but there's a thing in sports where you don't talk about, for him, it's a shutout in hockey.
Yep.
If the goalie hasn't allowed a goal yet in the game, you don't mention that because it could jinx it.
That's so
right?
true.
In baseball, it's always like if there's a pitcher throwing a perfect game or a no-hitter, supposedly, if you mention it. Which in this day and age...
How about a kicker lining up for a PAT, and when they say, like, yo, he's never missed.
he doesn't miss.
He hasn't missed one yet this season.
This guy, this is what they say. He's automatic from this distance.
Dude kills it every time. He hasn't missed one between 20 and 30 yards this whole year in the fourth quarter. This one bounces off the upright.
Sounds like that's happened recently to you.
Yeah, probably.
8772 Radio U. It's Friday the 13th. Do you have a superstition? You might not be superstitious, but what do you still superstitious about?
The words too expensive aren't in Nikki's vocabulary. This is The Riot. Radio U.
It's Friday the 13th, so we're talking little weird superstitions you might have. 8772 Radio U if you'd like to text in with yours. Isaiah says he always puts his right sock on first.
True.
That's your superstition.
That is a superstition of mine.
And do you do the same with your shoes?
I do not.
Okay.
Shoes don't matter as much
Either
to me.
foot.
Either
Doesn't
foot.
matter.
I'll just slide it in there.
I thought of one for me. This isn't particularly unique, but if I'm watching a sports, like my team in a sports game, and which makes me sound like somebody who doesn't watch a sports game. If I'm watching the Packers, for example, and I have the Packers jersey, I put on some Packers memorabilia before the game, and things are going badly, I might take it off. But if they're going well, I'll leave it on, and vice versa. If I start the game and I don't have it on and things are going badly, I got to run to the closet and grab a Packers.
The old switcheroo.
Yeah, because somehow that controls the outcome.
Fair.
Which has been proven wrong time and time again, and yet I still have to do it. That's for me. You got. I've seen we got some texts coming in. What do we got coming into the text?
See, I've got Jamie here says, how about knocking on wood? This is something that I do.
You knock on wood?
I knock on wood.
Is it actually wood? Do you make sure you find actual wood, or you just hit on something?
I try to find wood. If there's wood around, I will knock on wood.
Okay.
But that's one of mine. I will try to do. I don't take it super seriously, but if there is wood around, I'll say like, "Oh yeah, knock on wood," and I'll be like, "Is there any wood here?" Okay. And I'll try to find it.
Yeah.
We had Chris texted, "How about throwing salt over the shoulder?" This one I do not participate in.
No, I'm not. I'm familiar with that, but that's not something I do.
Not something for me. We also had Jesse say,
I do know it's bad luck to spill the salt, though.
Yeah, that's when you got to throw it.
Yeah.
You got to throw it over the shoulder.
Right. Okay.
So you spill it, then you got to throw it.
Okay.
Now, this one, Jesse texted in when I was little, I would never step on a crack because of the old saying, step on a crack, break your mother's back.
I think we all did that.
Yeah, you had to. It's kind of a fun thing that you did as a child.
Yeah.
And then we had Claire text in, how about finding a lucky penny? You know about the lucky pennies?
You only pick it up if it's heads up?
Yes.
I remember that from when I was a kid, and eventually I was
we get it, you're rich, all right? You don't want the pennies.
Yeah, no.
You don't need them.
Well, I just flip it over.
Oh, yeah?
And then take it.
Does that count? Works. That's not how it works.
Here's one that I thought of that my wife used to do.
Okay.
Is if you run a yellow light, you have to knock.
I've seen that.
Yeah, you have to knock on the roof of your vehicle. You ever do that?
I don't do that, but I have seen people do that.
Does it count as being superstitious if you make a wish at 11:11?
If it is, then I am superstitious because I will tell you, if it's 11:11, I do not miss it. I love making wishes. I'm a big wish guy.
Yeah.
11:11, I'm making a wish. 10 times out of 10, I will remind my friends if I'm with them that it's 11:11, and we will all make a wish together. I'm a big wisher. Do my wishes come true? Rarely. But I will, whenever there's a chance for me to make a wish, I will make a wish.
You're a volume wisher.
I love wishes.
The more wishes you make, eventually the more have to come true.
There's nothing that would make me happier than finding a genie so I can make as many wishes as possible. If there's a chance for me to make a wish, I am making a wish. If I find an eyelash, you obviously make the eyelash wishes. If I find an eyelash, automatic wish. If that's superstitious, then I am heavily superstitious because I believe in wishes, although mine have rarely ever came true.
I got a couple more quick ones. Chloe texted and she said she doesn't know if this is superstitious or her being OCD, but this is Chris actually. Chris says he doesn't know if it's superstitious or if he's OCD, but he has to make sure all 3 light switches in his house have to be in the down position before going to bed. I also thought of another one that it's bad luck to when it's your birthday, if you can't blow all the candles out in the same breath.
Doesn't count?
Yeah, your wish won't come true.
Really?
Yeah.
Strong breath,
That's a big one. And then Sarah just texted and she says, if we're having a good day at work, a good slow day at work, you never say it, because if you do, your luck will change and everything will get busy. That is true.
Oh,
you can't acknowledge you're having a slow, like if you work in the restaurant industry.
It's been nice here today. We haven't had many customers.
Yeah, we haven't had a line all morning. You can't say that, because then there will be people packed in like sardines
a line out the door.
You know it. So, well, all right, everybody be careful out there on Friday the 13th, because if ever is a day where you're going to have a superstition, today's the day.
Today is the day. Stay away from the black cats.
Yeah, use caution.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
8772 Radio U if you want to text into the show. Nikki is out today. She'll be back on Tuesday. And I wish she was here for this debate, because this is something that apparently is taken off on TikTok, where you kind of, when you go through your life and you go through your childhood, you have the way your parents raise you. And then at certain different points along the way, and once you become an adult, you realize that you felt like most kids have a similar childhood. And then you realize there's some ways that even like the kids you grew up with had some things that were totally different than you.
Yes.
There's just totally different mentalities that parents can have. And so here's one that I'm just learning about that I didn't really understand, and that a lot of people are talking about on TikTok. It is whether you grew up in a snack household or an ingredient household. Do you see the difference?
Big differences. I see them. I love this topic.
The snack household means that your mom stocked the cupboards and the pantries with snack packs, Cheetos, the variety packs, granola bars, stuff that you just open up and munch on when you need a snack. And then there's ingredient households where your parents, your mom wanted you, she had peanut butter, cheese, apples, celery sticks, bread, and like all this stuff. Of
Crackers,
course,
all the good stuff.
You might still have that if you grew up in a snack household, but your snacks were things you had to make yourself eventually. You had to grow up enough to be able to make yourself a sandwich, and there wasn't always just super processed, whatever, name brand, whatever, ready to go for you. Now, which household did you grow up in?
See, for me, I think that my household was more of a snack household.
Yeah.
But there is different levels to this, right?
Yeah, I think there is too. It exists on a spectrum.
Yes, of course. Like the snack household, I would say I was in a minor snack household.
Okay.
Like we had snacks, but it wasn't like I had friends come over to my house and they were like, oh my gosh, look at Isaiah's pantry. When you went to a house like that, as a kid, let's say I'm 10 years old, I go to my friend's house for the first time, I open up their pantry. If they're a major snack household, it's like...
That was exciting.
It's the best thing ever. Like you open up like, oh my gosh, you have this, you've got this. Like all that's like the best case scenario is to have a friend whose parents go crazy with snacks.
The top sign of a snack household, see if you agree with me on this. The top sign you knew that your friend had a snack household is if the freezer was stocked with multiple kinds of ice cream.
Oh, that's a fact.
You just go in and because in my house, maybe you had one kind of ice cream and it was halfway gone. You go to a real, like a tried and true snack household.
They've got multiple different ice creams.
They've got an ice cream bar. Every time the friends come over, which kind of ice cream would you like? We've got cookie dough, we've got vanilla, we've got chocolate.
Drumsticks, we've got Snickers ice cream bars.
We've got
and then you go to the pantry and you see just loaded up with Little Debbie's. If they have Doritos in there, you know that they're doing the right stuff. Now on the other spectrum, though, we've got the ingredient household. And this is something that more I experienced as a child. Not at my house. This is when I went to my grandmother's house. My snacks when I stayed with my grandma in the summers were always apples and peanut butter. We would do like crackers and cheese. We would do like celery and peanut butter, which was good snacks.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them, but also at that age, I wasn't the one who was making them. My grandmother was obviously making the celery and peanut butter for me, all that jazz.
Here's the question, I guess, that you can tell if you live in an ingredient household is, at what age did you have to start making the snacks for yourself? Not even somebody else doing it for you. when did you have to make a peanut butter and jelly or grilled cheese or apples and whatever? When did you have to start taking care of that yourself?
Yeah, it's definitely like 12 years old you're doing that. I think once you get near the middle school age.
I think if you live in an ingredient household, you're probably like 8 doing that.
You think so?
I think so.
It depends on the snack. Depends on the ingredients you're using.
Yeah.
But I will say also, if you had asked me which one I prefer, I think as a child, a snack household is overpowered. There's nothing that beats a snack
it's just
household.
So exciting.
Between the ages of like 4 years old to like 18, snack household is undefeated. I will say as I've gotten older, I now appreciate more the ingredient household.
Well, the ingredient household is setting you up for success later in life.
Yeah, and I
it's
prefer
teaching you not
snacks.
to be reliant on Cheetos and Breyer's ice cream.
Now I prefer, like, I like Doritos and I like fruit snacks and all that stuff, but also now I would prefer to have like celeries and peanut butter or apples and peanut butter. That's like what I have in my house now. I don't have snacks in my house. I have apples and oranges and actual snacks or ingredients in my house.
I'm still in a snack household, and it's not because I don't like celery or apples, as that doesn't seem like snacky to me. But the real reason I live in a snack household now is because I'm too lazy.
Really?
I don't want to have, if I'm hungry, I don't want to have to go.
So easy.
I don't want to have to go through the effort. Yeah, but that's one ingredient. That's what counts. That's still a snack. I brought an apple in this morning.
I ate it. I'll go home. I'll slice one. I've got some Nutella at the house. I'll scoop it up. Oh, man, it's so good.
I don't want to have to like make a grilled cheese as a snack or a peanut butter and jelly. That's too much effort for me.
See, I just
want
to
pop something open and chow down.
That's enough of that. For more Riot content, head to riot.radiou.com.